Picture Harlem on a sweltering summer evening, August 1st, 1943. A black GI home from the front lines is gunned down by a white cop inside a hotel lobby. The neighborhood ignites, 10,000 people pouring into the streets, storefronts aflame, sirens wailing, blood staining the sidewalks. The NYPD can't regain control. City Hall debates calling in the army. Then one man, Bumpy Johnson, steps into the inferno. No uniform, no official power, just a megaphone, a Cadillac, and the loyalty of an entire community. He halts the uprising single-handedly, then dials Mayor LaGuardia and issues an ultimatum that reshapes NYPD history. This is the story of how Bumpy Johnson proved that true authority springs from respect, not badges. So if you like stories like this, like and subscribe for more. August 1st, 1943. It was just after dinner when the call went out. Word traveled along Lenox Avenue faster than any patrol car could drive. They've shot one of our men. Harlem, overwrought from years of segregation and daily humiliations, had its fuse lit. Black soldiers fought overseas for rights they were denied at home. They returned in uniform, only to be called boy by white officers, refused service at restaurants, and pushed around on the streets they'd grown up in. Tensions were at a breaking point. At 7:30 p.m., Sergeant James Collins of the NYPD stormed into the lobby of the Braddock Hotel on 126th Street. A heated argument had erupted between Margie Polite, a local resident, and the hotel manager over a disputed bill. Collins, rougher than most, grabbed her arm, twisting until she screamed. That's when Private Robert Bandy, 26, back from a year-long campaign in Europe, wearing his olive-drab uniform with pride, intervened. "Sir, you're hurting her," Bandy said, voice firm but respectful. Collins turned, eyes cold. "Mind your own business, boy," he sneered. "I'm no boy, I'm a soldier," Bandy shot back. Witnesses differ on the exact words that followed, but all agree on the outcome. Collins whipped out his service revolver and fired. Bandy crumpled to the floor as his uniform bloomed red. The officer barked into his radio, claiming the GI had attacked him. A lie, but spread through the police channels as truth. Within minutes, Harlem's pulse quickened. Street lamps flickered under the approaching crowds. By 8 p.m., 50 people stood outside the Braddock. By 8:30, 500. By 9 grew, the masses surged outward, a tidal wave of pain and fury. Windows of white-owned shops shattered under rain of stones. Those storefronts were memories of exploitation, overpriced goods, no colored signs, scornful merchants. Black-owned businesses remained untouched. This was not random chaos, but targeted resentment. Police cruisers were overturned, their lights smashed. Officers in riot helmets advanced only to be pelted with brick and bottle. Commissioner Arthur Wallander's men formed barricades, but they were outnumbered, outflanked, overwhelmed. At 9:45, the commissioner called City Hall. "We're losing the streets." Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia, renowned as the Little Flower for his progressive stance, faced a grim choice: deploy the National Guard and risk civilian casualties, or watch buildings burn and violence spiral. He ordered the Guard to assemble and be ready within 90 minutes. Yet he underestimated the riot's deeper roots. Harlem was not burning because of opportunistic vandals. It was venting years of injustice. Amid the chaos, Bumpy Johnson emerged from Small's Paradise, the nightclub on 135th Street that served as his base. He was 36 years old, lean and sharply dressed, carriage stiff with confidence. His reputation had been forged in backroom deals, in feuds with Dutch Schultz and Lucky Luciano, but what truly set him apart was the trust Harlem placed in him. To them, Bumpy was a protector. His lieutenants urged him to slip away. The Guard would soon be on the streets. But Bumpy stared at the flames dancing against brick facades, at mothers pulling children to safety, at the police lines bristling 3 blocks away. "Bring me a megaphone and a car," he said. Within minutes, he stood on the roof of a black Cadillac parked in the middle of 125th Street. The driver pressed the horn in long, insistent blasts. Slowly, the tumultuous roar subsided as people recognized who held the bullhorn. Fires still crackled in the distance. Broken glass glittered under lamplight, but around the Cadillac, a hush fell. Bumpy raised the megaphone. "Listen up." His voice rang out, calm but unyielding. Heads turned, some arms dropped frozen mid-throw. "I know what you're feeling. I'm angry too. They shot Robert Bandy for doing exactly what any decent man would, protecting a woman. And I bet that cop will get away scot-free while our brother fights for his life in the hospital." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Bumpy let silence stretch. "But look at what you're destroying. Whose shops? Whose streets? This is our home. Tomorrow, after the smoke clears, who pays to fix this? Not the city, not the police. Us." A voice shouted, "They deserve it. They shot our man." Bumpy nodded. "You're right, they do deserve consequences. But they want you to wreck your own neighborhood so they can say, 'Look at these savages. See how they can't govern themselves.' They want an excuse to lock us down, to roll tanks down these avenues." He pointed toward the distant line of helmeted officers. "See them? They're just waiting for one more brick, one more broken window. When you give it to them, they'll open fire, and then they'll blame you, not the cop who drew his gun." Heads lowered. The crowd leaned in. The frenzy had turned to attention. "So here's the deal," Bumpy said. "Go on home. Check on your families. Let me handle the rest." Someone shouted, "How do we know you can stop this?" Bumpy smiled, lips curling. "I'm about to call Mayor LaGuardia. If those officers who started this mess aren't off the force by tomorrow morning, I won't stop anything next time. I'll lead it." Slowly, the crowd peeled away. Fires were doused. People guided each other toward side streets, toward safety. No order from police, just the word of one man. By 11:50 p.m., Harlem's avenues lay silent, lit only by residual embers and the distant, idle lights of the guard mobilizing. The National Guard arrived at midnight to find empty streets. Lieutenant Colonel Lewis Lyon radioed the mayor's office. "Sir, the situation's under control. There's nothing to suppress." In City Hall, LaGuardia frowned. Then the phone rang. "Mayor LaGuardia speaking." "Mayor, this is Bumpy Johnson," came the even voice. "We haven't met, but I did your job tonight." LaGuardia stiffened. "I did not ask for your help." "You didn't have to," said Bumpy. "I live in Harlem. These people are mine. You want peace here? Then you fire Officer Collins permanently, and every other cop in that precinct who's ever laid hands on an innocent black resident. I have 8 names ready. You do that, you won't see another riot. You don't, and the next time we'll make tonight look like a picnic." Silence. LaGuardia weighed his options. Bow to a gangster's demand, or risk another disaster in Harlem. "I'll review your list," he finally said. "You've got 72 hours, Bumpy replied. Then he hung up. On August 4th, the New York Times tucked a brief note on page 7. 8 officers dismissed after internal review. No names, no details. Among them was James Collins, charged with assault and stripped of his badge. The city said little, but everyone in Harlem knew who had won that battle. Mayor LaGuardia never publicly spoke of the conversation. Yet for the next decade, NYPD patrols in black neighborhoods were more restrained. By 1965, when Malcolm X was assassinated, the police asked Bumpy Johnson to help maintain order, bypassing City Hall because they understood who truly held the keys to Harlem. Bumpy Johnson died in 1968. At his funeral, thousands lined the streets of 135th, not to honor a gangster, but to mourn their champion, a man who stood between his people and a hostile system, who showed that sometimes the only way to stop violence is to confront it head-on and then demand accountability from those in charge. August 1st, 1943, Bumpy Johnson quelled a riot with a voice and a promise, then forced New York's most powerful white man to answer for the brutality of his police. That night, he proved genuine authority grows from respect, from loyalty, and from the courage to stand firm when the world around you burns. If you'd like more stories like these, please like and subscribe.